All right, so this is an update on my anti-gravity battery that I'm using. So I got it to die while I was on my road trip. You know, I did a 4,000-mile road trip up the coast and back down, around inland. And I was in where was I? I think I was in like the southwestern corner of Idaho or Oregon, somewhere around there, around that corner. There was a road construction, and the traffic was stopped for somewhere between 20 minutes to 30 minutes. I didn't exactly count the time, but it was about that long. And I had stop, and it was the temperature on my temperature gauge, in the car, in the information, on the dash, where the speedometer is, where the fuel level and such is. It showed that the ambient temperature was 103, 104, and it was skipping between those two numbers, and it was hot out. Good thing is that it's not humid; it was dry heat, so it's not that bad. But anyways, it was really triple digit. So I left the engine idling with the AC at max setting. So basically recycled air at max setting, because I wasn't moving. If I was moving, I would usually leave it on fresh air. But since it wasn't moving and it was idling, usually when the car is idling, the AC isn't as strong. The AC is stronger as the engine speed is faster. So since it was idling, it was weaker. So that's why I left it on recycle air, so that way it blows a little stronger. So I left it on max AC, max on the fan and on the temperature, max cooling, and I had the radio on. And I had the GPS running, and I had my phone plugged in, and also my laptop plugged in to the USB connectors, to charge those. And then when traffic started up again, about 20 minutes or 30 minutes later, and the road that was being constructed was all gravel road. So as soon as I got onto it, all of a sudden my temperature, my gauges, all my gauges up in here. Look at this. Right. So this ambient temperature here was showing 103, 104. Right now it's showing 64, but it was at the time 103, 104. So anyways, so I started going, and it was on the gravel road, the road being constructed. Several icons lit up. So the flat tire icon lit up, which is right above this brake. See this brake icon right here, right above, like in the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock position to that brake icon. It's a flat tire icon that came on. The ABS icon came on over here, and the traction control icon came, which is, I think, it's down right here where the 6 o'clock is. So those three things came on. So I was like, oh shoot, and I thought it was just a gravel road. I didn't think it was anything else, so I thought it was just the gravel road. It's like, okay, it's probably just a gravel road, but I noticed it was kind of like dimming and it was just acting very sporadic. I'm like, what the heck? So I wasn't sure if it was because I had a flat tire, or maybe the gravel got like somehow it dislodged the ABS sensor, because how this system works, this ABS system works is and traction control and such, and also the tire pressure indicator. They all work by via the ABS sensor, so those sensors on all four wheels, the wheels are spinning, the ring is spinning where the sensor is, it picks up if the speed on all those wheels, if one of them is off compared to the other ones, those things will light up, right? If it shows you have a flat tire or you losing traction or whatever. So I thought it was just the gravel road, but once we passed the gravel road, and the gravel road was long, it went on for like at least 5 miles. So once we passed the gravel road, it was still showing. So I was like, okay, maybe I do have a fat or something got dislodged. So I stopped the engine. Oh no, actually I put it into a gas station, then I stopped the engine. Then I checked out the tires. The tires, the pressure was fine. I looked beyond past the wheels, and look at the rest of, as much as I could see anyways, the suspension component and the ABS line, because in the back you could actually see the ABS line, the cable. So I looked at all that stuff, and everything was fine. I was like, oh, everything's fine. Then I got back into the car, and I tried to start it. Oh, nothing. No light, no nothing. I was like, what the heck? So no, usually when you first turn the car on, you have all these lights come on, right? Like or even your infotainment right here lights up, or this right here lights up, but I had nothing, I had no lights whatsoever. So I was like, oh, the battery's dead. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, oh, maybe because I was sitting idling too long. So I went over back to the, and popped the hood, went back here, and remember this new anti-gravity batteries, they have this restart thing. So I pressed that. I went back and tried to start the car, but nothing. Again, no lights at all, and I just kept on pressing this, and then no lights. Supposedly this is enough juice so that when you press this and it reconnects, it should have enough to crank it once or twice. But again, this is a car, and this battery is not meant for a car. This battery is meant for power sport vehicles. Basically, this size one was actually meant for like one of those side by sides. Those big side by sides, or like a Harley or something like that. Something that's with a bigger power sport, but not necessarily a car, an automobile. They do make a battery for the automobile, but that one's like a lot bigger than this, and I don't think it actually fits in there. Maybe it doesn't, but anyways, it weighs more. This thing is only 6 pounds. The other one weighs, I think, 12 pounds, so double the weight. So I'm trying to follow Mazda's lead and in implementing the gram strategy. So anyways, it didn't work. So I was like, oh shoot. So I guess because this thing is rated, the cranking amp is pretty high. It's like 700 or something like that, or 750 cranking amps. But the amp hours on this is actually very low. It's only 30 amp hours, so that's really low for a car. So I think when I left the car idling with AC full blast and everything, it for 20-30 minutes it drained this, and it basically, remember, this battery, to save itself from low discharge, it will actually disconnect itself. So that's what happened. But I guess the reserve power on here was not enough to start this car, so I can't rely on this restart anymore. So when I travel anywhere, I bring jumper cables with me, and luckily I did have my jumper cables, so I was able to get a jump start, and it started right up, and everything was fine. And I drove to my next stop, next gas or whatever it was. I was able to turn it off, and everything worked, and it was back to normal again. So so this battery, it's not meant for high draw. While it's idling, when a car is idling, the alternator is not spinning fast enough to charge it much. So when the AC was at max, I think the electrical use was higher than what the alternator could charge out. That's why this thing was being drained. But when it's actually driving, and the engine speed is higher, it's like 2,500-3,000 RPMs or so, there's enough charge, there's enough charge from the alternator to run everything and keep the battery charged. So there you have it. So people that want to use this battery for the cars, be mindful of that. If you have like a stereo system or something like that, you had some big amps and stuff, this thing it's not going to work. Any little lithium is not going to work. You need to have something with a high I shouldn't say any lithium, but it will work if you have something with high amp hours. So this thing being 30 amp hours will not work. That's just too little. You need something with at least, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe at least 50 amp hours or more than that at very minimum, to be more practical. But so I learned my lesson. Next time, if I have to idle that long, I just won't run the AC very high. I'll leave the AC at a lower setting. At the fan speed anyways, at the lower setting. The temperature on the AC I will still leave at maximum, but the fan speed I will leave at maybe halfway or something like that, and it'll probably be okay. And I probably turn off the radio and all that stuff, turn off all the other electrical chargers. The electrical draws. So that's the result of that, the review of that. Other thing that like I mentioned, that it was really hot that day, and everything was real hot, right? So lithium batteries, they don't operate very well in high temperatures. Low temperatures, freezing and below, or really high temperatures, they do not operate well. They actually lose energy. They lose their power. So that was the other concern I had too, was because it was so hot and it was just idling there, so there was no air circulation in here. I mean, the fan kicks on every now and again, but that's not enough to circulate air in the engine compartment, right? So I think that could be also another factor. So what I'm gonna do to counter that is I'm gonna try to somehow make a little heat shield around here, around this end here, on you know, on this side and the front side of it right here, to basically help block the heat from the engine, and that should keep it cooler by I'm gonna say maybe by about 5 degrees or so, maybe 10 degrees. That doesn't seem like much, but that could be the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So so I'm gonna do that. I have to figure out something. I'm not sure what exactly. I'm thinking of just using the baking pan, right? For like baking, you know, when you used to roast a turkey or something in the oven, and you know, that baking pan. So I was thinking about getting one of those, a heavy duty one, a really heavy duty one, so it's a little bit thicker, a little bit sturdier, and you know, just bending it in this to the shape and somehow making it so that way it mounts, and then that aluminum piece doesn't necessarily touch the batteries. You know, it's a little bit off. You want to have a little bit of an air gap in there, so that way it's you know, that helps keep it cooler as well. So yeah, so that's it. All right, so thanks for listening to the little long-winded story, but just to let you know, on this battery, it does work, but you have to be mindful of energy draw when you're idling. If you're driving normally, it should be all right. Under the normal loads of the vehicle, if you have something that's you know, some aftermarket electronics like a stereo system that, you know, draws more power, these things will not work. You know, the amp hours is too low. You need something that's, you know, that has more amp hours, or maybe even a capacitor. But anyways, so that's it. Thanks for watching.